I guess we met probably in late 1997, early 1998.
Yeah.
You came to Ojai.
I think it was that time, or that early, because that was just shortly when I was putting together the Radical Awakening work in 97, and I was just was doing it in 97 in Boulder, and then came out to California in 98. So it's, in that time somewhere.
Right. I had a stroke back in February of 97, and had been watching tapes, of Gangaji, and I had gotten into a point where I was very blissful, and so every guru that came to town, well, I would sit right in the front row and give him the googly eyes.
Oh yeah, I remember you, Bob. You were the Bliss Bunny.
I was the Bliss Bunny.
You were the Bliss Bunny in the front of the room.
Bliss Ninny, yeah. I was looking to have my enlightenment be validated, by all these gurus when they came to town. I was really, I think the word is jonesing for that.
So I think I was giving the satsang at the Ojai Institute, where the Krishnamurti's center, right?
Yeah. I think the first time I saw you was actually up that big house on the hill over on Sulphur Mountain.
Oh yeah, right, Ojai, right.
Right.
That person that was sponsoring Katie.
Right.
Guy with the long, with the brown hair, I forget what his
Right.
name was. Right, yeah, okay.
The big house with all the beautiful view. It was like an eagle's eyrie, It was, and had all the Sautillo tiles. It was quite a place. It was a beautiful place.
So I guess you came to a couple of the satsangs before we actually did a private session, right?
Yes.
Or a Radical Awakening session.
We did a Radical Awakening session at a Radical Awakening weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was at the Ojai retreat.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Right
So
up
we
on
didn't do it in
Besant
we didn't even do it in a private session then.
No, we didn't have a private session until much later.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
Right.
So in that Radical Awakening workshop, I'm thinking how I had it structured at that time was I had people pairing off.
Yes.
And the other person was bringing, the participants would bring each other through the Radical Awakening.
That's right. That's exactly the format. Yeah.
Okay, it's coming back to me once in a while.
Yeah. And we were having a little difficulty, and I can remember you came over to our pair.
Okay.
And kind of took over, the thing with me. It was kind of interesting.
So what happened at that point?
Well, horns started honking.
Right, exactly. And God called.
God called, right. Well, what happened was, we went through the process of the Radical Awakening, and the first, there was a part where I would, use this seeing that was seeing through my eyes out to you, and then there was this part where I was using your eyes as a mirror to reflect that image back to me.
The image of the true self.
Right, yeah. Well, just whatever was looking out.
Whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Let's call it that.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, actually, we call it something. It's just like it's almost like we don't need to use a word.
Right, exactly.
But so there was this looking, and with the reflection, there was this seeing, and then this instantaneous, this just 1/10 of a second, I looked back and I saw absolutely nothing, and it was like an explosion. It was so quick, and it was like the back of my head blew off, and
wow.
And really never to be replaced.
So you're saying that having the back of your head blown off is a good thing then, right?
Yes, yeah. It took it got rid of all the pressure.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, see, with the back of your head gone, nothing can get pressurized in there anymore. So the contraction just doesn't happen. There's just this looking out.
Got it, interesting.
The personality still runs its game. That hasn't changed. People have reported the personality may have improved a little bit, but I wouldn't know,
Seems to me some of the rough edges are kind of a little less rough.
Okay, but
But
Yeah.
there wasn't a pressure about that anymore, is it?
Yeah, right. And it's just like everything is recreating itself in this space, you know, that the back of the head is open to.
Mm.
And then it's being seen, and the whole changing, you know, kaleidoscope of life, you know, just plays itself out, but there's no pressurization. Because that which I considered myself to be, which was the voice right behind the eyes that was commenting on everything,
Right.
it isn't so much that it disappears, but it's seen for what it isn't. And it's
Right.
not me.
In this more expanded space, it's actually perceptually, you can get a sense that that's actually the case. You don't need a intellectual concept to kind of get that.
No.
It's like an experience, right?
Right. You know, it's just the same as discovering that who I am is now, here, without having to use the words now, here. You know, there's just this knowingness.
So it was interesting that, from my observation on the other side, I saw a shift from like a bliss bunny to a sense of one who was kind of residing in a much more expansive and calm and even infinite space. That's what it felt like over here.
Yeah.
Was it something like that over there too? For
Yeah,
you?
but it wasn't even like there was any residing in it. There was just the spaciousness.
Just the spaciousness.
Just the spaciousness, nobody residing.
Right.
Without having to disclaim myself.
Right. Got it.
You know, in other words, to say, oh, I've disappeared. You know, it wasn't like that. You know, I'm definitely here,
Mm-hmm.
but not as what I previously considered myself to be.
So after that, how was kind of, you know, your interactions with the world? I mean, before you're like blissing around everywhere, what was the experience like after the radical awakening?
Well, the bliss was very interesting. You know, I guess it went on pretty much constantly for about 6 months, but it was punctuated, you know, but there was definitely the unexamined, I guess for lack of a better word, ego was taking, I hate to use that word, but it had taken possession of the bliss.
Uh-huh.
And it was
Co-opted it.
It co-opted it, and it was defending it.
Ah, got
So
it.
if any situation in life came up that, you know, that was upsetting or threatened the bliss, there was this huge reaction of anger, fear, and you know, followed by anger, that I was going to lose my prized possession, which was the bliss. You know.
Got it.
So to the point was at that time I was a lot bigger and healthier and stronger, and I was afraid that I was actually going to physically, you know, react to some of this stimulation.
Interesting.
So there was this defense that was happening, and it got to the point where the bliss seemed to be kind of an egoic indulgence.
Got it. So
Right.
how did that change after the radical awakening then?
Well, when I went home and I drove home and I felt very flat. But the next morning when I woke up, the bliss was gone. You know, this, you know, and I don't know how, I guess I could go through a whole description of the physical sensations. It was quite pleasant. But it wasn't like the bliss was replaced by anything. The bliss got out of the way, and this clear, open, pristine, qualityless awareness was revealed as not something that was being experienced, but as who I am.
Beautiful. Wow.
Without having to say the words or lay claim to it, anything laying claim to it.
Right.
Well, of course, you know, talking in this video, words are being used. It's you guys aren't mind readers out there, but this description is really insufficient.
Got it. So all of a sudden, it's like Bob and I were on the same page, right? And after that, we just became really good friends.